I'm not gonna sit here and take it anymore.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. Joining us now is Neal Fox, and he's our special guest. I want to let you listen for a moment to some of his music, and then we're going to talk about it. From the Conspiracy Project. It's a rock opera, a musical, a multimedia event. Who knows? It's something very different. It's a different way to get the information out there to wake people up. And I'm talking to Neal Fox. Neal Fox has been in the jingle business for a very long time. He wrote music for tons of commercials, many major networks, the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather. He co-sponsored a couple of Killer Tomatoes movies. And he says after being offered a lot of money for a 3-minute song pitching cigarettes to kids by the company with a famous cartoon mascot, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So joining us now is Neal Fox. Welcome, Neal.
Thank you. Good to be on. Thanks.
I enjoy your project here. And again, you know, we can look at the different ways to get information out to people. I've always said that documentaries, I think, are one of the best ways to wake people up. If they listen to the news on a daily basis, whether it's our radio show, whether it's our nightly news, we're telling them information that they can use, but we cannot always go back and provide the background, the foundation to get them to understand what they're hearing. And it's something that's very different than they're hearing from the mainstream press. So a documentary gives people the facts in a context. It tells a story, but it's still kind of didactic. So if you got something that's dramatic, that communicates with people on a visceral level. But the downside of that is that they always have a happy Hollywood ending. So it really just kind of turns into a revelation of method. So I really liked what you did, because what yours is, I guess, is really kind of a musical documentary. It's a bunch of songs about different topics, introducing those topics. And it's a very digestible way to get this. It gets to people viscerally, plus they also get the information. I really like the way you present that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we had a tough time while I was creating it, figuring out what to call it, because if we called it a musical documentary, people might think it was a documentary about musicals,
yeah,
or something to do with music. And it's not that at all. It's a very, I think it might be one of a kind. I'm not really sure. But when I enter it in film festivals, I put it under documentary. Sometimes they get it. Sometimes they go like, what the hell is this? And just turn it off.
Well, I like it because the music is really kind of front and center. And besides the DVD, you know, there's the songs themselves, and like I said, I really like the lyrics. Like one of them, let me just read this. This is very short lyrics. The plan. It's the final season since it all began. The night has come to take us with its master plan. Some of us won't make it. Some of us won't understand. But a hero's been growing in the common man. And you're totally awake, and it's a great project to wake other people up. And just like that that song we came in with, Three buildings, two planes. We really need to hammer that into people, you know? If you tell it to them enough times, if you sing it to them and kind of get that jingle in their head, then they might, three buildings, two planes.
Well, you know, I was in the jingle business, as you know, for maybe 15, 20 years. I don't like to really think about it. But I kind of got zeroed into the whole mental the headspace of how do you get something across to people really, really fast and simple, especially if they're, the kind of people that only listen to sound bites, or they're kind of drugged up, or just in a semi-hypnotic state due to television, and that kind of thing. And so I really wanted to make this product for the kind of people who we really need. We've been preaching to the choir probably 90% of the time, and we're not going to do anything unless we get more people involved in freedom, in the fight.
Yeah.
So I thought we needed an undercut, because a lot of people will watch a show like yours, and if they're not ready for it, if they're kind of half asleep, they'll hear one piece of information that they don't agree with or is a little too shocking, and they'll just run away. That'll be it. They'll turn off.
That's right. They won't look it up. They won't look it up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And they'll just walk away going, "Oh, that's nuts," and I don't want to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we needed an undercut, because we really need to get more people involved. And I thought the best way to do it is through entertainment, through music, through art, animation. I even have a little bit of dance at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Anything aesthetic, to get them to sit through it and actually listen to the message, and maybe by the end of it, walk away with a few seeds in their minds and saying, "Gee, I didn't know about that. Maybe I should look that up." Because if that's true, we better know about it.
Absolutely. I want to play several clips, give people a taste of it. And let's play another clip. This one is from Save Us. And it really kind of touches on the insanity of trading your liberty away, making yourself more of a slave in the hopes that somehow the government's going to keep you safe. Let's play that clip.
Fine day in a new and fertile land. A group of patriots were brave enough to take a stand. They put forth an idea that raised us to new heights, that the country serves man, and man has got his rights. Now 200 years have passed, and this freedom served them well. But the cancer never left. They devised a plan from hell, just like a game of dominoes falling to the ground. The only way to win, bring America down. We got the solutions to problems we create. We'll take the confusions and wipe them off your plate. You'd never believe that, you couldn't conceive that, from presidents down to clerks. Just one of the perks, we get to control you, 'cause this is how the game works.
That's a great clip. Let's go back to Neal. I love that we've got the solutions for problems we create, and from presidents down to clerks, just one of the perks is we get to control you, because this is how the game works. That's exactly it.
Thanks. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. How the game works. That whole thing basically is about false flag, and hopefully that'll explain it to people who don't even know what a false flag is. Because the best way to stop the effectiveness of a false flag, as I'm sure you know, is tell people what it is. Then,
Exactly.
There's no more knee-jerk.
Expose the magician's trick.
Exactly.
Once you show the trick and you know how it works, it's lost all of its magic.
Exactly. And that's my whole modus operandi for the film. And I'm also doing art that goes along with the film, with the same topics. Some of the art's in the film, and hopefully I'll get into live performance. Hell, I'd like to see this in concert and even off Broadway. Just any way we can get the message out and actually put butts in the seats so they'll listen to it, and they'll walk out of there. They came in to see some entertainment. Maybe they thought it was a little controversial, but they'll walk out thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got a full spectrum operation going. They use every medium, every format as well, and we need to do that as well. We're going to play a comedy clip here. And of course, we have a comedy. There's comedy, there's tragedy, there's all kinds of stuff, different genres of music that you've got on here. And of course, we've got a contest coming up. Of course, ridicule, as Hillary well knows, from Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, ridicule is man's most potent weapon. And so we're going to pour that on the top of Hillary's head in multiple ways. And as we go to this, I think this could very well be the theme song for the presidential elections. He's lying, because you've got a whole string of presidents here in your animation sitting on the piano, the upright piano, kind of swaying to the music, from LBJ all the way to Obama. And we're going to pick up with the one on W. But before we do that, I just got to say, One of the things about live radio is just as we went to break, I said, I don't want to get rid of Woodrow Wilson. I don't want to erase his name. And it's like, it's not because I like Woodrow Wilson, folks. I know I'm going to get lots of cards and letters on this. I know that he's the globalist who started all this interventionism. I know he created the Fed. I know he created the income tax. I don't want to erase his memory. I want to keep him forever in effigy. And so in that sense, let's play a little bit from the W section of He's Lying.
Okay.
W said Saddam Hussein had secrets to disclose, had bugs and bombs and boogeymen hidden in his clothes. He said it might be nuclear, but history still shows thousands died for causes no one knows. He's lying. He's lying. We went to war and now look who's crying. 200,000 innocents are lying in their grave. Now torture has been legalized. The flag has lost its wave. They justify the killing due to all the lives they save. He's lying. There's really no denying. He's lying. There's really no denying. He's lying.
All right, let's go back to Neal. I got to say, you know, what got my interest was the cover letter when he sent it to me. He said, do you need to see another documentary on conspiracy theories? Of course you don't. But there's plenty of people who aren't awake, and they do need to see this. I thought, all right, I'll take a look at it. And when I took it home and showed it to my family, we do that a lot of times with documentaries, and we've got people of all different ages in our home, and many times they don't make it to a documentary. But we were all watching this whole thing. We enjoyed it. We really did.
Did they get to the part about the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, we stopped at the point because it was after we'd already watched another movie, so we only got halfway through, and we said, we'll have to pick this up. But yeah, we didn't get to that because we would have censored that.
Yeah, that's not family oriented, that part.
That's right. That's right.
That's the only song in my 45 years of writing songs. It's the only time I use the F-bomb in a song, and because it was just too appropriate for the Federal Reserve. I mean,
well, we have so many different F agencies in Washington. I think we are totally effed with these bureaucracies because there's one of them after the other: FCC, the FDA, so on forth and so on.
Yes.
Now, there was a serious song that you had, "My Daughter Weeps," and you say this is a true story. Was this your daughter or someone you know, or?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It's My Daughter Sleeps, and a lot of people, when I show it at film festivals, they think it's my daughter, it's my own personal story. I've been married 45 years, but as far as I know, we don't have kids.
Oh, okay.
Unless they went off to college really early, I don't know. But they don't call or anything. So, no, this is a story that I heard on the internet. It was a true story, somebody else's story. Mm-hmm. And since I wrote that story, I heard from so many people about how it happened to them, or it happened to a nephew or somebody of theirs, and it's amazing. It's just too many stories like this are going on. So, yeah, yes. I'm glad you asked. It's not my personal story, thank God.
Well, yes, we cover these stories all the time, unfortunately, and of course, many people have never heard even of the vaccine court. I remember there's been a couple of tragic stories that surfaced through the vaccine court, trying to get compensation for that. People need to understand that the big pharmaceutical companies have been given legal immunity. Why would they do that if they have a safe and effective product? Let's play a little bit of this, My Daughter Sleeps.
And I watch my daughter sleep. My beating heart's the only sound. She is so good and kind. She's always on my mind. The only moments that I keep. She hasn't looked at me or heard a word I said. The flame of life's no longer there. I'd give up everything if I could hear her sing. if God would take my life instead. She was a healthy child. She sang and danced and smiled. She called me daddy till that day. I'm all I have to blame. The outcome's all the same. Though she's so close, she's far away. I had some doubts about the science they proclaim. They reassured me it's the law. They said they know what's right. I shouldn't try to fight. I can't ignore that fatal flaw.
Very, very touching song. And of course, we've known of many cases where parents have testified that shortly after they had a vaccine, it was like the light just went out of their children's eyes. And you have that lyric there, the flame of life is no longer there.
Yeah, yes. That song still gets me. I wrote it, well, I worked on this project for almost 3 years, and that was written quite a while ago into the project. And still, when I hear it, it's really hard to listen to.
You know, and that's the thing is we've heard of people whose children have immediately gone into autistic situation after a vaccination. We've also heard many stories of families where their children have uncontrollable seizures that run forever and ever. And it's amazing to me that one of the only things that really addresses these uncontrollable seizures, and we've had our very first exemption here, even in Texas, for medical marijuana to address that particular case, that case and that case only, uncontrollable continuous seizures. And that's caused by, in many cases, by vaccines, an adverse reaction to a vaccine. It's amazing to me that marijuana, which could treat that, is made illegal, and yet we are seeing guns held to people's heads to have them take the vaccines without their informed consent. That is so incredibly upside down.
Well, welcome to planet Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
It is upside down. I mean,
Yeah.
When I first started getting into this, entered the rabbit hole, probably about 30 years ago, but maybe 10 years ago is when I really got into it up to my eyeballs. It's just amazing how everything I ever learned just about is completely the opposite of what I was taught and what I thought. I mean, I actually grew up a liberal, believe it or not. Now, I don't label myself liberal or conservative. I don't think the labeling is a good idea. I'd just rather look for the truth, you know?
Yes. Yes, that's how they control you. They get you to buy into one of their two choices.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as they keep us fighting with each other, they can be over here unnoticed, and we keep fighting over here, and they can do whatever they want over here because we're just fighting with each other. Absolutely.
We're talking to Neal Fox with The Conspiracy Project as his musical documentary. You can find out information about that at theconspiracyproject.org. Stay with us when we come back. We're going to talk some more to Neal, and we're going to play another excerpt or two from his work. We'll be right back.
Television network. This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Chairman, that I'd like to.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I see blood on the horizon. I know something is wrong. I see bodies on the river. They'll take me before too long.
And you're listening to the music of Neal Fox from his Conspiracy Project. It's a musical documentary. We've been talking to him this last segment, and he'll be joining us here in just a moment. That's very appropriate, I think, on the day after the 52nd anniversary of JFK. We look at that. We look at he starts out with the William Colby at the church hearings, talking about the CIA control the media, JFK's quotes on secret society, Eisenhower on the military-industrial complex. And then you see this all in the context of the police state violence. That song is Blood on the Horizon. I want to go back to Neal Fox in just a moment. Before we do, real quickly, just want to let you know that we have store-wide free shipping all this week. Just this week only, leading up to the Thanksgiving sales. And each day we have new sales coming up. Today, our sale is 33% off DNA Force. Now's the time to get it for 33% off at InfoWarsLife.com. The Bio PQQ and DNA Force contains more potent antioxidant activity than vitamin C. It's backed by 175 clinical studies. Right now, you can get that at 33% off, a huge savings, in addition to free shipping all this week on everything at the store. So it's a good time to stock up on things for Christmas, but even beyond that, free shipping is a huge discount. Now, I want to go back to Neal Fox. Neal, when I looked at that, as we're talking about the clip that we came in with, Blood on the Horizon, when I look at the police state violence, I think it's people need to see that context, going back to the 1970s and beyond, the 1960s, the 1950s with Eisenhower, to understand really the roots of the police state, to understand that this isn't racism, it's really rooted in globalism and that kind of violence. And I think when we look at this in terms of race, what we do is we isolate black people, and they isolate themselves from the problem, saying that's only their problem, only them, they're the only ones who are suffering from this. We need to all come together and fight what you're depicting in that video.
Absolutely. We're talking about human rights.
Yes.
Not segmented rights for this group or that group. Once you talk about human rights, you've included everybody. Of course, I guess maybe people who like dolphins may be upset. I don't know. But,
so long and thanks for all the fish, right?
Yeah, I read the same book. It's good.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to cast any aspersions on dolphins. I love dolphins. They're some of my closest friends. But seriously, it's a human rights issue. And as long as we can keep it in that context, we stop putting out these little fires and we start concentrating on where the source of the problem is, instead of just these little sidetrack things. I mean, yeah, you gotta have human rights for minorities, for different nations, different countries, whatever your sexual persuasion are, whatever you think. If you're a human, you should have rights, and you're covered by the fight for human rights.
Absolutely. And we need to all come together, as you point out. We need to have a large awakening, a large movement. Whenever I see people standing up for their rights as an individual, they get clobbered, they get hammered by that police state. But if they stand up collectively, because they understand what's going on, the police state will back down. I've seen that happen multiple times. Your documentary is yet another way for people to wake up. Thank you so much, Neal Fox, and the documentary is The Conspiracy Project. You can find it at conspiracyproject.org. Join us tonight for the Nightly News at 7 Central.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.